Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter, and I have been your beat reporter covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for On SI every single day since August 2019, and we are continuing to move forward through yet another season together. As always, you can find all of our 100% free, 24/7, boots on the ground Jacksonville Jaguars content when you follow us on social media such as Facebook or Twitter at Jaguars on SI. You can also find us at www.si.com/NFL/Jaguars. All right, folks, welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. Today we are officially turning the page to Week 5 as the Jacksonville Jaguars prepare to face the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Now, it's obviously a huge game for the Jaguars. You're facing the defending AFC champions, a team that the Jaguars, haven't been able to get by in the last few years. The Chiefs have had their numbers. It's been a couple years since they played them, 2023. But Chiefs beat them twice in 2022, once in the regular season and then again in the divisional round. And then, of course, the Chiefs beat them in that really ugly game at home in 2023, a game where basically left Anton Harrison as a rookie to fend for himself against Chris Jones, who was making his return. Things are a lot different since then. New coaching staff, new roster for the most part, not as many players as you would think left over from that 2023 loss. There's some, but the team has been overhauled since then. And the Chiefs now, obviously, they've picked up some momentum in the last few weeks. They beat a bad New York Giants team, and then they had a resounding win against the Baltimore Ravens. But this isn't, at least it doesn't feel like the Chiefs of old, of at least the 2022-2023 season, where it was Patrick Mahomes being completely Teflon, just a juggernaut offense, etc. He's still playing really good football, threw 4 touchdowns against the Ravens, but Travis Kelce's obviously getting up there in age. Their passing game, the weapons are kind of hit or miss. Xavier Worthy made his return in Week 4 and made a big impact. But outside of him, it doesn't feel like the Chiefs have that many weapons that scare you. But they do still have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is somebody who the Jaguars just simply have not been able to get past. And they're not alone in that regard. Patrick Mahomes has not lost many games as a starting quarterback in the NFL. But the Jaguars specifically are a team that he's had a lot of success against. And to me, I think even though they just faced a 3-0 team, and even though they just beat the defending AFC South champions a week before that, I know the Chiefs are 2-2 and the Jags are 3-1. But I see this as a benchmark game for the Jaguars. For a couple reasons. One, you are introducing the new era of the Jaguars to the national audience. First game on primetime for the Liam Cohen era. Obviously, this Jaguars team has looked a lot different to start 2025 than it looked last year. I mean, they won 4 games all of last season. They won 3 games in the first month of this season. So they're kind of rolling right now. But I'd imagine not a lot of people took them that seriously when they beat the brakes off the Panthers. I'd imagine even fewer people took them seriously when they lost in Week 2 to the Cincinnati Bengals, who have looked absolutely horrible otherwise with Jake Browning. Then you beat the Texans at home in Week 3. Well, people see it as the Texans are, not very good this year. Okay. Then they beat the Texans and they beat the 49ers in Week 4 in San Francisco. Jaguars finally exercised demons against both the 49ers and on the West Coast. And it seems like most of the talk has been either that, the 49ers are so injury depleted that it wasn't an impressive win. Or the talk has been about Liam Cohen telling Robert Saleh to keep his name out of his mouth. And I don't think that's fair. I think the talk around the Jaguars should be what a turnaround they've had thus far. A defense that has created 13 takeaways. A rushing attack that has gone from amongst the worst in the NFL for years to now being one of the best in football. Travis Etienne had one of the worst years of any starting running back last season. Easily the worst year of his career. This year he's been on absolute fire. Has had a Pro Bowl caliber type season thus far. This is a chance for the Jaguars to go on a national stage and show against a premier franchise, against a dynasty, that these last 4 weeks haven't been a fluke. That they aren't just getting lucky with turnovers and the draw of their opponent. They'll face teams with better records than the Chiefs' 500 record. They have a tough schedule. Seahawks in week 6. Rams in week 7. You had the Broncos down the road. It's not the easiest schedule in the world. But this is a game, to me, you're playing it on such a platform, on such a stage, against this specific franchise. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones. Now, I don't think there's a better way for the Jaguars to make a statement than to win this game. If the Jaguars are 4-1 and knock off the Kansas City Chiefs through 5 weeks, the momentum that they'll have and the hype that they'll have will be palpable. It will be something that this franchise hasn't seen for some time. They've only started 3-1 twice in the last nearly 20 years. 2018, good start. But I think everybody knew it was kind of, house of cards getting ready to fall. If you can beat the Kansas City Chiefs, that is something that I don't think people will be able to take away from you. Even if this does look like a more beatable Chiefs team than we've seen in recent years. But simply put, I think that the Jaguars, they've had issues with the Texans in recent years. Hadn't beat the Texans at home in nearly a decade. They did that. They had one on the West Coast other than beating the Chargers in 2022 in forever. They did that. The San Francisco 49ers absolutely, bulldozed them the last time they played. Got past them. Liam Cohen so far has taken the Jaguars to places that they haven't otherwise gone before. He's been able to take the Jaguars to a level through the first month of the season that they didn't reach last year. Heck, even when they started 8-3. How many really quality wins did they have in there? A lot of close wins. And they've had close wins this year. But how many wins did you walk away thinking, okay, this is a team that has turned the corner? Because that's what they've played like this year. They have truly played like a team that has made the jump. And yeah, it's only been a month. A lot of teams start out hot and then flame out after a month. Saints last year. So we'll see where they are a month from now. And then a month after that. And then a month after that. We'll see. But all we can judge so far is what we've seen. And what we've seen is a Jaguars team that has outdone everybody's expectations. At least I believe. They've outdone mine. I thought 2-2 would be a heck of a start to 2025. Liam Cohen just has something about him, people. My level of, I don't know if I'd say confidence is the word, because that would imply I'm rooting or encouraging for something, but the level of competence I think that I believe the Jaguars are now operating with is not something I have felt about them covering the team. I think Liam Cohen has the goods. And I think if Liam Cohen can navigate them to a win in a primetime slot against the best dynasty in football running right now, I think that will just show you just how far this franchise has come.